welcome back to the third quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and we got to get a few sponsors in right away.
We can do that. How about Carl's Thrifty Way? Right out the gate, Carl's Thrifty Way. Go for all your medicinal needs, over the counter and prescription. They can help you. They've got the time to sit with you and talk to you about what you're looking for with your prescription. And don't forget about them for home decorating ideas. They can help you with anything in your home, great gifts, monogramming, huge gift selection place. But they'll actually send someone to your home. You know, this time of the year, you're doing things with graduation and a lot of parties may be going on. They'll actually get somebody to go by your house, make special wreaths, a lot of decorations. You've got this huge wreath you had to make one Christmas for you, just gorgeous over your mantle. I mean, it takes a big one to cover that big fireplace. Beautiful thing. Go by Carl's. They can help you out. And don't forget about the custom-made earplugs as well. For you shooters and you swimmers, they can do that at Carl's as well.
Summer's coming on. So
that's right. It's that time of the year.
Having problems.
And LHC Group, all your home health care needs. LHC Group can help you with the therapist, with the equipment you may need for home, from the oxygen type equipment to the lift beds and the special chairs. They can help you with hospice and palliative care. They've got the Health and Wellness Center here in Opelousas as well. And you know, this past week they had the nice awards for Dr. Tom Jones, you know, who's so active with the Boy Scouts, and LHC of course sponsors and helps promote the Boy Scouts as well, and had bought a nice large table there at the event. I want to congratulate Dr. Jones. You know, he's retiring from the medical firm, but they also gave him the Distinguished Service Award through the Boy Scouts. He's not going to retire from the Boy Scouts by any stretch of the imagination.
I hope not.
But
he was that there. String that's kept it together for years.
A lot of his Eagle Scouts were there. Jamie Green, who I didn't realize was one of his Eagle Scouts, and Tommy Abear, you know, Keith and Kathy's son, was an Eagle Scout as well. And so a lot of the Eagle Scouts came back to honor him and all. Really nice event, and I want to thank them.
Talking about LHC Group, I was in the company of Taylor, Harold Taylor's.
He was there the other night.
Harold was there, good. And I asked him what capacity Don Stelly was in, and he says, he looks at me like this, he said he is the president of LHC Group. Excellent. And here's a local person who started out maybe at Opelousas General in administration capacity.
I don't know if he wasn't in nursing as well. I mean, I think he was actually hands-on on the floor when he began.
And worked his way up, and you know, well, LHC Group, you know, you might think of it as, well, a Palmetto company, or you might think of it as an Opelousas company or a Lafayette company.
But that's Port Barre.
But, yeah, and Don from Port Barre. And here he is president of a company that's operating in about 25 states already and growing as we speak right now. So kind of backs up what I said about our young people, boys, men and women, when they get into these companies, no matter where the company is located, there's a good opportunity for them to rise to the top of the group.
And we noticed his uncle passed away this week, Mr. Floyd Stelly.
Floyd Stelly died, and of course Floyd is a year older than me, and 77. The funeral services are taking place as we do the taping of the program. We tape on Wednesdays for the Thursday morning 7 o'clock programming, and of course I knew his wife Betty and the family, and of course Clay Bertrand. I speak of Clay quite often on the program. I make a little statements about different things that he says, and he was married to Floyd's sister, and so Joyce, and we all grew up together in little bitty Opelousas.
And you and I talk a lot about Deanna Lejeune. She was Deanna Stelly Lejeune, who was daughter of Floyd's brother Larry.
Larry, that's correct, and Floyd was her godfather. Yeah. So it goes on and on and on. Our deepest sympathies. And one more death that took place, and of course we're talking about a senior citizen here, 99 years old, Mr. Lewis Butler Sr. He was one of the very first in St. Landry Parish African Americans to be serving on an elected position in St. Landry Parish. He was a councilman for many, many years here in Opelousas, and passed the gavel on to his son, Lewis Butler Jr., who is on the present council today. So my daddy was good friends with him, and they all call him Don Louis in French. I don't know where the Don came in, but whatever it is, Don, I guess it's Don Lewis.
Yeah. Either father or Don.
Yeah.
But I don't know which.
Yeah, which. But quite a character, really got to know his constituents real well. I remember my aunt, T. Lou, and her daughter, Beryl. They lived Beryl still lives on Pine Street, and that was within his district. And anytime that anything was needed around there, T. Lou, Beryl's mama, would just pick up the phone and call him, and he took care of it. I mean, he was hands-on. I'm glad to say that I was one of his longtime friends, our deepest sympathies.
One thing I want to bring back about Mr. Floyd, we were talking about a while ago, Mr. Floyd Stelly, is with this group of men from Port Barre, all former military men, who dress in the khakis, bring out the gun and the bugle, and give military honors to all these different burials.
I'm glad you remember, because we talked about that when we were talking about the death.
And I mean, any military man, that goes from these young men now that are serving overseas that pass away.
Which funeral we went to at the Episcopal Church here up the street here.
I've gone to so many that
but you remember they were there.
He and Donald Andrus and the whole group from Port Barre, Bill Duplichin, you know, all the different wars, all very active in it, and you know, really appreciate what they do. And one more death, Miss Jeanette.
By the way, the St. Landry Parish
Veterans
Memorial is really coming along. Work is progressing.
On Highway 182.
Just hold tight. I think if you would get in touch with Pat Mason, Gildery, I think you could probably still get a brick, maybe for a relative or for yourself or for your family. You don't have to even be a veteran. If you there's going to be different areas within where they're going to place the bricks, and or you want to make a donation. The bricks are only $50 a piece, and they'll be there hopefully forever, because the reason that the park was moved from Evangeline Downs property, they couldn't sell it, they could lease it for $1, but these monuments and facilities such as this have to be built on government-owned land so that it's going to be there forever.
Right.
So it's a good investment, and at the same time, you're helping make sure that this program gets a completion. That's the land that I was very fortunate enough. And you know, I was at the country club yesterday, had a sandwich, and talked with Don Desertel. And Don, I thought he had graduated from Opelousas High, but he had actually graduated from AIC, Opelousas Catholic, today. And when I got ready to pay, I learned that Don had paid it. So I walked up to him. He was walking away. I said, Don, thank you very much for the lunch. He says, well, you do so much for the community, such as the donation of the land.
Oh, the veterans thing touches so many people, so many families.
So, you know, he made my day. You're not looking for thank yous, but that donation of mine right there is probably one of those that has touched more families than anything else I've ever done.
So anything you folks can do to donate will help as well.
That's correct.
One last death, Miss Jeanette Gauthier, 74 years old, a resident of Stuart, Florida, has passed away. And the reason why we bring her up is our production guy here, Mr. Steve Gauthier, that takes care of us and does everything for us here at the show. His mom, she's survived by Mr. Donald Gauthier, two of Steve's brothers, Eric and Todd, and three grandchildren, Tyler, Viviana, and Jonathan. So our deepest sympathies to the Gauthier family.
And I inquired from Steve, are you the Gauthier family that hails out of Voss Parish? He says, no, not really, although we're checking back on the lineage of the genealogy of the family. It looks like they might have come out of French-speaking Canada.
Right.
And that would maybe...
Through Massachusetts for his family. So not all the Cajuns came here Not all came here and became Cajuns. Some kind of stayed in the Northeast.
And
so.
a lot of them went over to the Mobile, Alabama area, where the Fontenot's have an annual reunion over there of Fontenot's.
So Steve's a go-to on both ends.
That's correct.
And one more thing, well, if you're interested about your genealogy, go by this weekend. They're having a St. Leonard Genealogical Historical Society meeting at the conference room in the campus south of Opposite General Hospital, what we call the Old Doctor's Hospital, at 10 a.m. There'll be coffee and cookies as usual, and it'll be a presentation by Connie Moniz Grimion, talking about her new book, A House for Eliza, on her family experiences in Cajun life at the turn of the century. The coffee and refreshments start at 9:30. Go by.
Okay, let's get some pictures.
Thank you, Miss Estelle Perro.
And this young lady here is Miss Haley Gale Kroc, and her husband, you will see him in a few minutes, and that's Noah. But this is Jockey's vest and hat, silks that they use in the races, and she had dressed up with that just for my picture here, and she's quite a character. We're going to have her several pictures. That's her husband right here clowning around.
And there's the Lopez racing colors in the background.
Yes, in the background. And he, of course, is an attorney, as well as Haley Gale. She was a very successful prosecutor, and now is an attorney. They're both attorneys,
and
husband
he's got
and wife.
KDCG drink holder, I notice.
How about that?
There's
and
the house.
That's the lovely home that Jim and Babs have in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and this is an annual event they've been having since maybe 1991, something like that, and a little seating area next to the pool there, and right in the front door of the lovely home is a railroad train, and if you don't own any stock in railroads, it's a good time to go out and buy it. It's amazing at how many trains pass in front of this lovely home every day of the year.
For sure.
They don't know nothing about Saturdays and Sundays.
Look at the puppies.
Manford is about a year old, and he's a new puppy that Mike and his wife have just gotten in recent weeks, and they're training Manford.
Cute as a button.
And the only thing he knows is no. And that's pretty important. That's a good thing to teach him.
I see Miss Babs getting some food ready with everyone else in the kitchen.
Mike is way in the back. And you know, it's a shame. Mike took care of the whole gambling process, and we'll show you the computer and program and who was handling the program. And that's Miss Edie. Miss Edie is part fixture. She's been working in that home for over 30 years now. And she cleans everything up when we leave, and she fixes breakfast, and just a sweet, sweet lady, part of the family. And this in the background, we have a better picture of Jay Winford.
Yeah, somewhere.
And I have a story to tell you.
Hit it, because I'm not sure where it's at.
Okay, we'll get back to it in a minute.
Well, if you want to tell the story, now would be the time.
Okay, we'll tell the story right now. This was Friday night, we were sitting at the bar talking, and Jim says, you know, Jay, Bobby has a daughter that's graduating at Tulane in a few weeks. And he says, I know your daughter, Catherine, is a student there. He says, yeah. Jim says, I'll get my daughter, Dawn, to introduce the two of them. I mean, he had just finished making that statement. The phone rings, and who's on the phone but Megan, my Megan. And I went to start saying that Jay Winford was there. Oh, she says, I know his daughter, Catherine.
There you go.
She says, she's a Chi sorority member. And she said, we rushed her, and she joined the sorority.
So she's younger.
She's younger. She's a freshman. She's finishing her first year. So that's how small the world is. And of course, Jay is a very successful businessman here in Opelousas, one of the owners of Prairie Contractors. It used to be called Prairie Construction, but when Laddie James was still alive, by the way, the company was sold to Jay and a couple of others. You know what his degree?
Good morning, my cousin Richard LeBlanc over there.
You know what his degree is in?
What's that?
His degree is in asphalt engineering.
Wow.
Asphalt.
He's in the right business.
Right business.
We're going to take a break. We'll see you folks on the other side of 1 minute.